one of the biggest stories from the 2021 offseason and one of the more interesting and compelling storylines for the 2022 season for the LCS is, the most surprising part was the Fudge role swap from top lane to mid lane after having a very, very interesting year. You know, in lock-in, C9 fans and LCS fans were memeing Fudge so hard, saying he's so terrible, he needs to be benched, he needs to be replaced. And then, come MSI, come Summer Split, come Worlds, everyone was saying Fudge was one of the best top laners, if not one of the best players overall in the LCS. Things really changed fast. So seeing him role swap from top lane to mid lane after just one season in the LCS and a very, very successful season in the LCS, getting a championship, going to MSI, going to Worlds, getting out of groups, was surprising to a lot of people. But now, how well and how quickly he's able to do well in the mid lane is going to be a big storyline throughout the whole year. And in this video today, I want to talk a little bit about how this role swap has been going for Fudge so far and what maybe we can look forward to, in the lock-in tournament and from then on, from both Fudge, Cloud9, and all of this involved, which is, a very, very crazy situation. Role swaps are always interesting. They're always entertaining, and everyone always has a hot take. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that so much. And subscribe to today and all my latest content. With that being said, let's get right into this. We have a tweet from Fudge a couple of days ago. This was 5 days ago when I'm recording this. I don't know exactly when this video is going to be coming out, but we know Fudge is a trash talker. We know he's one that loves to be active on social media. He's always on Twitter, super active, always, talking trash or getting involved or, tweeting at people. And it's pretty funny. It's entertaining. Again, I think overall it's a good decision for pros to be more active and maybe, getting a little controversy or a little drama or be a little cringy or whatever than to be not active enough and just have people not caring about them at all. I don't agree with everything Fudge says. I think he makes some bad tweets. I think he makes some bad comments, bad opinions, some stuff that I'm like, you're kind of annoying or whatever. Sometimes. Overall, I like Fudge, but again, I would rather have players like that who I actually have an opinion about and actually care about than certain guys that you're just like, oh, if they, left the LCS entirely, I don't even know if I would notice. But he did tweet this out. He said, after practicing mid for a month, I can confidently say that I'm the best mid in the LCS. Now, obviously, this is to some extent a joke, but to some extent it's also real. I mean, obviously he knows a month is not enough time to just be the best mid. He's not just going to expect to come out and stomp everyone, just like last year when he thought he was a good top laner, but he came out and struggled a lot. He looked like one of the worst top laners in the LCS in lock-in tournament in early spring split, but he believed in himself. He knows he's good. He took the time, put in the hours, all that stuff, and became great. Now, this is really, really funny, and, this is going to get people talking. This obviously got a lot of engagement. This got 9,700 likes, which, for League of Legends Twitter is very, very good, but this got people talking. I know Takoi, responded, and he said, because you haven't met me yet, this is a new FlyQuest mid laner. Fudge said true, which is funny, not really acknowledging him. Closer tweeted a picture of Abadage at him, which is also funny. And then everyone's getting involved. People are saying the fuck. Oh, we got Bjergsen. All these different names. But I love that Fudge is getting the trash talk out there early. He's also getting the memes out there early. Once, if or when Fudge does poorly in the lock-in tournament, into game in the lock-in tournament, underperforms, people are going to be posting this at him. People are going to be tweeting this. People are going to be putting this on Reddit. Or if he comes out and dominates, people are going to be putting this on Reddit. So I think, being very, speaking in hyperbole and dramatizing stuff and over-exaggerating stuff is always great. As long as you can handle, some stuff being thrown back at you, I think this is always a good move. It gives fans a bunch of ammo. It gives a player a bunch of ammo to come back and say, I told you so, a couple months from now, if he wins the spring title or whatever with Cloud9, or if he claps Bjergsen, or if he claps Abadage, he can, quote tweet this. And it's just good business for Fudge, for his brand, for Cloud9, for the LCS. I think it's really, really good. But what we do have going on, is some of the solo queue that's been going on. I know we've talked a lot about solo queue recently, from Bjergsen in Korea, to some other player solo queue accounts and everything. But this is from Tracking the Pros. We can see that they're at least claiming that this C9 Jordan account, for whatever reason, Fudge has been changing his name a lot. I don't know if that's because he wants to hide his mid lane account, or if he just always changes his name a lot, or because he's funny, he wants memes or whatever. But I'd been struggling to actually find Fudge's solo queue accounts for a while because he had been changing his name a bunch. But it does say that, right now they think that this C9 Jordan account is Fudge's. So here is actually the op.gg for C9 Jordan. It's been an account since 2020, season 2021. It was Master, and a lot of mid lane games. Kassadin, Twisted Fate, Lux, Akali, LeBlanc, Yone. I actually scrolled back, going way, way, way back. I had to click the button so many times. But, if we go back to 2 months ago, this was actually a top lane account. Riven, Kennen, Graves top. Here's a Yone mid, but here's a Graves top and a Aurelia top. He's playing a lot of top lane. So this does lead me to believe, that this being Fudge's account would make a lot of sense. It's an account that had a lot of top lane games in Season 11, and now in the preseason just happens to be a mid laner. It's a Master Tier mid laner. And yeah, here's what's going on with him. Overall, we talked about this with Bjergsen. Bjergsen wasn't doing that great in Korean solo queue, but people gave him a lot of excuses like, he took last year off. It's just solo queue. He's just limit testing. He's learning the new champions, matchups, whatever. And some of that stuff is also very, very fair for Fudge. Obviously, Fudge didn't take this past year off, but he hasn't been a mid laner competitively, ever to my knowledge, but for sure not within the last 2 years, or even the last 3 years, because he was playing top lane in Osh as well. But overall, these stats are, not super great. And this is considering, North American solo queue as well. But, currently he's on a 5-game losing streak. His most played champion has been LeBlanc, at least on this account. He could have multiple different accounts. Maybe his win rate's super good if you put all the accounts together, whatever. But at least on this account, his, LeBlanc is his most played champion with a 41% win rate. Yone with a 50% win rate, Zoe with a 50% win rate, Victor sitting at a 30% win rate. It's only 10 games, so he's just 3-7, but, it's not necessarily a great sign. Aurelia seems to be going pretty well. Obviously a top laner that I don't know if he's playing at top or mid, but, working out well. But Vex, 50% win rate, Malzahar, 38% win rate. So of his 7 most played champions in the preseason so far, only Aurelia has above a 50% win rate, and none of these champions have great stats, great win rates, anything like that. So, obviously that's not necessarily a great sign. If you look at his more recent games, he has a 47% win rate in the mid lane. And again, this is in like mid-master. I don't know where this account was at before. Maybe we can look at the tier graph. Beginning of December, he was like Grandmaster. So he's kind of fallen from Grandmaster down to Master. He went from D1 up to Master, up to Grandmaster, down to Master. So he's kind of falling as of late. But yeah, not necessarily a great sign. Not really, finding a ton of success on a lot of these champions. But again, this is a thing where he's learning a lot of new champions, a lot of new matchups. There's a ton of limit testing. And to become good, to become great, to really find out where you're at in a lot of these matchups, you have to int a little bit. You have to go for some crazy plays. You have to go for big plays and dial it back. It's much easier to dial things back than it is to, dial things up to a level, especially when you're talking about professional play where you're laning against, Bjergsen, who's played mid for 10 years. You're playing against Abadage, who's played mid for, however many years. These guys who know these champions, know these matchups inside and out, and are also still learning the different patches, the new champions, the new meta, playing as a team. And obviously that's the other downside that Fudge has. Fudge is stuck in North America, playing North American solo queue, while the rest of his team and the academy team and some other players are all over in Korea, not only getting to boot camp Korean solo queue, scrim, Korean teams, Chinese teams, LDL teams, Korean academy teams, but also getting to play together and build up that synergy and everything. So this all leads me to believe that for C9 and Fudge, we could see a very, very slow start to the season. LS himself said, I don't really want to make expectations for us for lock-in tournament or for Fudge early on in the season since he's not getting to come to Korea with us. And I think that's very, very fair. Being over in Korea with the team would really speed up his own developmental process, but also his development process with the team. And him not being there could be really, really rough because it seems like over here by himself in North America, things are not necessarily going great for him in solo queue. He goes through stretches of, 14-0 on LeBlanc, 15-3 on LeBlanc, but like 4-5 on Yone, 7-9 on Yasuo. I know Midbeast did a review of him recently too. Maybe you guys want to check that out. Midbeast said overall he thinks he looks like an LCS level LeBlanc, but there was some rough moments in that game, some not necessarily super clean moments as well, where yes, he was a great top laner, and yes, he's definitely a good competitive player, but you can say mid and top are very similar, but I would also argue they're very, very different. They have different responsibilities in game. The waves set up differently. You have to just do more on the map as a mid laner. You have a lot more going on, and it's just going to be tough. So I don't know. This is Fudge's solo queue account. Again, he changes the name all the time. He's bouncing around all the time, but did just want to take a look at this because I know we did it with Bjergsen and we got to roast him and talk all about that. So I had to do the same for Mr. Fudge, and not looking great. Again, I still fully expect Fudge to be a very, very good mid laner. I don't know if it'll be in spring split, summer split. Maybe it won't be until 2023. But also, keep your expectations low, especially early on in the season. Expect him to be slow out of the gates. But I do think, he'll be on the right track eventually. But this is just, you got to start somewhere. But That's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about Fudge struggling in North American solo queue? Do you think it's a bad sign? Do you think it doesn't matter at all? Are you worried, not worried? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.